Well, look at that, everybody. We've got a whole lot of lions. 3 female lions and a big male lion, and in the background you can probably hear some elephants shouting. And I'm whispering because when you're in the wilderness like this, you want to be very quiet so you can hear what's going on around you. So these 3 lions have killed a buffalo. So it wasn't a very good day yesterday for that buffalo, unfortunately. But the lions have to eat, and we know that they're the greatest carnivores in Africa, and they have to eat meat. So that's what they're doing. And then the male lion, he's the one with the lots of hair on him. He isn't eating at the moment because he's so full and fat that he can't think about eating any more meat. And if you look carefully, you can see the female is also very fat. See that big fat belly? She's so full because she's been eating so much meat. Now that buffalo probably weighed about 400 kilograms. Now most of you probably don't weigh more than 25 kilograms, so that is more than 20 times your size. So they are very big animals, and the lions are very big as well. Those lions are about twice the size of those 2 cheetah we just saw. Huge. They are strong enough to get into the head bone and bite it. Look how big he is. He's a massive animal. He's marking his territory now. That's how animals mark their territory. They rub their heads, and now he'll spray. He had a little bit of a spray of urine. Let's go backwards and see if we can spot the others. They've just gone to sleep there. Eva, hello to you. You want to know how long the lions will stay with the buffalo. They'll eat the buffalo until it's finished, you know, Eva. And sometimes it can smell so disgusting that you couldn't believe that any animal would want to eat a buffalo that smelled so very disgusting. But lions don't care, you know. They really don't care at all what it smells like. They're very happy to eat the most smelly thing in the world. Something that you and I wouldn't even look at, let alone think about eating. These lions will eat. Let's just ease up here. Just watch where the lion's going. There's females coming past the front of the car. Hello, Pia. You want to know why dad lions have got lots of fur around their heads? Well, it's like a beard. You know that your dad's got a beard. He probably shaves his beard off, but if he didn't shave it, then he would have a very long beard, and you know that your mother doesn't have a beard. And it's the same thing with lions and lionesses. Lionesses don't have a big beard. The males do have a big beard. But that big beard of the male lions, everybody, is probably there to protect his neck, because male lions like to fight. They fight often. And that beard, that huge mane, it's called a mane, huge mane helps them to avoid being hurting themselves when they're fighting. I think we should follow him. Let's leave the lionesses to their smelly breakfast, and let's follow the male lion down through the bushes there and see where he goes. Oops, hit a bush there. I think the female is not too far from here. That other female walked off in here somewhere. And maybe he's going to look for her. Maybe he's going to find another male lion. Let's find out. Everything out here is a big mystery, and it's often very difficult to understand what's happening. There he is. And Tegan, you ask a very, very good question. You say, why do lions mark their territory? Tegan, lions mark their territory because they don't want to have other lions come into their territory. It's the same way that when you are at home, you lock your door. You know that not everybody is allowed to just walk into your house, right? And it's the same thing with the territory here. That's spraying urine there, everybody. He's having a wee on that branch. And while that's a bit disgusting as well, that's how he marks his territory. So Tegan, it's impossible, you know, people are not allowed just into your house, and the same thing the lions are doing here. They're saying, this is my house, I've been here for the longest, so everybody else stay out. And of course there are no doors here, you can't have a fence or anything like that, so he marks his boundary with his urine. There's the female. Oh, now they're very tired. Lions get very, very tired, everyone, because they eat so very much. Let me just go around the other side there. I think we might get a nice view of him. Are you happy here, Ben? Probably actually better here. Let me just try and get a little bit closer to him. And Lyra, you ask a very good question. You say, why don't they attack us? Why don't these huge, fearsome animals attack us? When we're so close to them, why don't they jump on the back of the car and eat us? And, well, Lyra, you know what? They're just used to us. And it's because we're around here quite a lot that they just don't see us as something to eat. And that's why they don't eat us. If we came here on foot, remember we're in a car now, if we came here on foot, they would be much more likely to have a bite of us. But they'd also be more likely to run away. You see how tired he is? He's so very tired. I don't know where the other male is. Apparently there were 2 males here. But only one male that we can see. And you can see, I bet many of you have got cats at home, and you know that your cats at home do more of sleeping than they do anything else. And it's the same with lions. I'm sure many of you know that there are 24 hours in one day. And do you know how many of those hours lions can sleep for? They can sleep for 20 hours of the day. That's a very, very long time. Hello, Abigail, you're wondering about baby lion cubs and how small they are. Well, when they're born, Abigail, they're probably about the size of half a ruler. So you've got a ruler there that's 30 centimeters long. So a baby lion cub, when it's born, is probably about 15 centimeters, which are very, very small. But then by the time they reach 6 months old, they're probably bigger than, I don't know if you guys know what a Labrador is. It's a kind of a dog, like a big dog, probably about the size of a Labrador or an Alsatian dog. That's only after 6 months, and by the time they're a year old, they're bigger than any dog you've ever met. And by the time they're 2 years old, well, then they're just enormous. They're the biggest cats that we get out here. So they grow very quickly. See the vulture? Look at the vulture! That's very special. Those are called hooded vultures, everybody, and they're waiting for the lions to leave that buffalo alone so that they can go and eat the last little bits of meat. They have to be very, very patient, or they don't eat at all. Ava, you want to know about how many cubs the lions have. Ava, it's normally 3 or 4, but sometimes it can be as many as 6. But normally, if they have 6 cubs, well, it's very unlikely that they will all survive. See how they're just going to sleep now? This is what lions do. They like to have a snooze for a long time, especially when their bellies are that full. Amy, that's a very astute question from you. Let's move with them. Amy, you say, how many bird species have I seen this morning? Amy, I don't know. I don't think I've counted, but I can go through them quickly while we move the car. We've seen hornbills and starlings, and we've seen hoopoes, and we've seen babblers, and what else have we seen? We've seen 2 or 3 species of vulture. We've seen, what else? Franklins. We've seen doves. So probably about 15 species of birds so far this morning. But there are, you know how many birds there are found here? There are over 250 birds found in this area. See now, he's so tired, he's so lazy. but he doesn't want his friend to leave. He doesn't want his girlfriend to leave, but he's too lazy to get up and follow her. So now he doesn't really know what to do. He's a very good looking fellow, isn't he? He's a lovely looking lion. Kira, you say Byron made an impala sound, but you didn't hear it. And you want to know what an impala sounds like. An impala, when it's very, very scared, goes... bit like that. Liam's looking at me as though I'm mad, but it sounds a little bit like that, Kira. It's a big snort. Isn't he a lovely fellow? He's a very special lion. We're very lucky to spend some time with him. And Fatima, you're wondering about why lions eat so much. Well, they eat so much because they're so big. You know that your dad and your mum eat much more than you do, and that's because they're much bigger than you are. And this chap is more than twice the weight of your father, and so he eats much more than twice the weight that your father eats. Remember also, Fatima, they don't eat every day. Now watch him. See that? That's very special. What he's doing there is testing the air. I know it looks like he's cross, like he's growling, but he isn't. He's testing the urine that the female put there, and he's testing to see whether she wants to become a mummy lion again or not. So this is a very special thing we're seeing. See that? See how it looks like he's half smiling and half growling? And I think he's going to follow this female. Let's go and see. There she is. Oh, he's such a fat-bellied fellow. He's had so much buffalo meat to eat, he doesn't know what to do with himself. We're so lucky to have this very special sighting while you guys are with us. You know, we don't always see cheetah and lion and leopard in one drive. That's very unusual. There we go. Hello, Pia. You want to know why birds called babblers are called babblers? Well, Pia, because they babble. They make a big noise. It sounds like they're having a conversation the whole time. They go... See, the lion doesn't like my call, so I'm not going to do it again. The lioness is looking at me as though I'm mad. And Jamie, you went to Monte Casino Bird Park yesterday and you say you saw lots of birds of prey. Well, that's great. Did you see any vultures? We've got two wonderful vultures looking at us now. I wonder if you saw those vultures at the Bird of Prey Centre at Monte Casino. Those vultures, if I'm not mistaken, are called hooded vultures. We get 5 different kinds of vultures here, and that particular one is known as the hooded vulture. Here comes the lioness. She's moving again, turning around and going to sleep. Ugh, so tired. I'm just going to help somebody else get into the sighting, everybody. Ooh, look at the vultures coming in here. They're all eating something on the ground here. This is amazing. Let me move the car. I'm going to move it very slowly because the vultures might run away. I think, you know what You know what I think they're eating? I think that they're eating lion dung. I don't think there's any meat there. Yeah, they're flying off because they're just a little bit scared of the car. Huge, huge birds. So I think that they're eating lion dung. Let me just move back and see if we can't get a decent picture. Yeah, you see we can't get any closer than this, so I'm not going to try. Let's go back to the lions. And we can have a look at this big hooded vulture over here. There we go. Now that bird, everybody, you've all seen a hardy-dar, I'm sure, in your garden. You know what a hardy-dar is? That bird's about twice the size of a hardy-dar. Huge, huge bird. And he's got a very special beak. You see his beak is very thin and it's very sharp. And that very thin, sharp beak allows him to eat the bits and pieces of meat on a buffalo carcass that no other animal can get to. Emma, you are very clever because you've just noticed something. And you've noticed something about the vultures and the way they fly. And you say it seems to you that vultures are too big to fly, and that it probably makes it a little bit difficult for them to fly being so big. Emma, they can fly very well, but what you've noticed is that they don't fly so well when they're close to the ground. It's difficult for them to take off in the same way that, you know, an aeroplane has to have a runway, it has to get some speed before it can take off. Well, vultures have a similar sort of a problem, and because they're so heavy. But once they're up, and once they're flying in the hot air, once there's hot air rising off the ground, they're brilliant flyers, and they can fly for hours and hours and hours without having to come down at all. So yes, not very good at flying like a sparrow. You've seen sparrows and starlings flying about the place, like the birds that you have in your garden. Very good at flying from branch to branch and around and quick. These chaps not so good at that, but once they get up in the air, they're really very good flyers indeed. Let's have a look at the lions again. And you can see this lioness, the female. Well, there are two things you must notice about her. The first is that she's very, very tired. She's breathing very heavily. And the second is that her face is dirty. You see that? And her face is dirty because she's been eating buffalo. So she's got blood on her bed, on her front. Lily, interesting one from you. You want to know why lions and other cats, like your house cats, have got whiskers. Lily, we're not entirely sure, you know, but we think it's to help them feel what's going on around them. Remember, they are active mostly in the night time, and we think maybe that their whiskers help them to feel around the place when they're moving at night. I'm not sure about that, though, so I'm going to say to you, Lily, that I don't really know why they have whiskers. And I know that might be a bit strange, but you know, we just don't know everything, especially me. So we don't really know why they have whiskers. Look at the big teeth there, huge teeth. And the next time you go home, and I don't know how many of you have cats and dogs at home, but if you look in your cat or your dog's mouth, you'll find the same arrangement of teeth. These ones are just much, much bigger. But a very similar kind of teeth to the ones that you have. And Khalela-sang, you want to know how much a lion eats every day. Well, it depends, you know, it depends very much on what the lion eats. So if they kill a buffalo, like they've just killed this buffalo, they probably won't eat for the next 4 days. Now, can you imagine having a supper so very big that you didn't need to eat for the next 4 days? Well, that's what these buffalo have done. At least that's what these lions have done. So they're not like us, where you have 3 meals a day and a snack for break and something like that. They only eat probably every 4 days or so, and that depends on what they kill. So these guys have killed a buffalo. If, however, they had killed something small, say, let's pretend that they'd killed an impala, which is a small antelope, well, what you'll find then is that they will have to eat again very soon, because an impala isn't a very good meal for a lion. Now, I'm going to show you something quite special, everybody. Viam, if I can ask you to come back towards the tree where the vulture was. We've got 2 kinds of vultures. Well, we've got 5, but this one is a different one. This one is a very, very rare vulture, everybody. And I know it looks probably the same to you, but it isn't. It's a special vulture called a white-headed vulture. And it doesn't have a white head yet because it's still a young one. But you can see it's got a very red beak at the end of its beak. And it is a juvenile white-headed vulture. Now, it's a huge bird. It's very uncommon, and it's probably almost endangered. And you know how tall it is? If you pick up your ruler, if you've got one close by, that is almost 3 rulers tall. So if you put 3 rulers on top of each other, that's how big that huge bird is. Look at him flying. Wonderful to see. Just beautiful. So let's just have a quick look here. I'll just show you the 2 kinds of birds. So there is the white-backed vulture, and there is the hooded vulture. See that? And this one is much smaller. That's about 2 rulers tall. This chap is about 3 rulers tall. Huge, big, white-headed vulture. Beautiful. And Eva, you want to know if vultures ever kill things for themselves. There are 2 or 3 species that can, but don't very often. So the white-backed vulture, which is the most common vulture we get here, they sometimes kill for themselves. And also the lappet-faced vulture, which is a very, very big vulture, probably, say, 3.5 rulers tall. They sometimes kill on their own. Right, I think we should go back towards that carcass where the buffalo is and see if the other lionesses are still eating there. What do you think? Because these chaps, I think, are just going to go to sleep now, and it's starting to get hot. Starting to get very hot indeed. So I'm just going to put on my sun hat. There we go. You'll hear a little bit of ruffling around the sound. Sorry about that. But the sun hat is very necessary. You know that you have to wear a sun hat out here in the wild, because if you don't, well, you get very burnt skin. Alright, let's go back towards the other lions. We'll see also if we can spot some more vultures. We've had the white-backed vultures. I've definitely seen some here. Oh, and I know a lot of you are excited by birds. There's a bird called a purple roller. Isn't that nice? He was okay. Let's see if we can go and see what the others are doing. Been to a birthday party. That's how she feels. Alright, let's quickly move along and see if we can find the other kill. My friend Byron's got another bird to show you.
So James has had so much luck with that lion kill and the vultures, and he just showed you a purple roller. This is a lilac-breasted roller. Beautiful, beautiful bird. So many different colors. They say there's about 7 different colors on that bird. 7 or 8 different colors. So we can see, what can we see? I think, why don't you, all the girls at Rodine, try and count there quickly and tell me how many colors you can see. Let me know. Tell your teachers to send in the answers, and we'll see how close you get. So our bird life this morning is really great. And Amy was the one who wanted to see a lot of birds. There's been so much going on with all the big animals, the elephant and the lions feeding on a buffalo. Very exciting. Looks like this roller's got something stuck on his beak. Possibly just a little bit of sand or mud. Very, very beautiful bird. And when they fly, when they open their wings, they've got a bright, bright, bright blue color under their wings. One of my favorite birds to see. And how they get the name roller is when they fly in the sky, they sometimes have, or they do this wonderful call. It's a very loud, harsh, screeching sound. And while they do that, they then stop flapping their wings and they do loops in the air, like these little half-moon loops. And they roll a little bit, and then as they come down, they twist from side to side. It looks very funny. And they shake their wings from side to side, and they come all the way down and land in a tree. And that is how they get the name roller, is because of that wonderful display they do in the sky. It's starting to warm up nicely. The sun is baking down on Brian and I, and we're becoming more and more relaxed out here. It was a bit cooler this morning, a bit cold. I hope all of you are warm in your classrooms. Up to 10 different colors. I'm assuming that would be just a few different shades of perhaps blue and brown and that purple or lilac color, that pinkish purple color. Very, very beautiful color. So glad he has sat there for a while, allowed us to watch him and view him. We're going to continue searching for some other animals. While I do that, James has still got those lions with the buffalo kill. Let's see what they are up to.
Now everybody, this is going to be a little bit disgusting, so you might want to hide your faces. We won't be here for very long. I just want to show you the two lionesses. Even though they are as fat as that other lioness that we were looking at, they are still eating. So it's like I was saying to you, it's like you going to one birthday party, and then you have to go to another one, and then another one straight after that. Can you imagine how full you would be? And that's what these lions are doing. They're having a good steak meal. Now lions are what we call carnivores. The leopard you saw is also a carnivore. The cheetah you saw is also a carnivore. And a carnivore means that they eat meat only. So they'll only eat meat. And so although it's not so nice sometimes to see an animal get killed, well, it's a little bit like us. You know how we eat chicken, and we eat beef, and we eat pork? Well, it's the same thing. We also have to kill animals to eat. And it's the same thing as these lions. And Izzy, you say, why do lions have such big teeth? Well, if you want to kill a buffalo for your supper, Izzy, you've got to have a weapon. And the big weapon that lions have are those big teeth, and of course those big claws that they've got. They've got very sharp claws. And they have to have. Otherwise it would be impossible for them to kill animals like this buffalo, and that would be impossible for them to eat then. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't eat vegetables. Now Lily, I think it's a very clever question you've asked. You say, do lions eat grass at all? They do sometimes. I don't know how many of you have got dogs at home, but I'm sure some of you do, and some of you would have seen them eating long green grass sometimes. You must think to yourself that it's very strange that they do that. I'm just going to quickly talk to Andrew on the radio, then I'll get back to you, Lily. Yeah, sure, go for it, Andrew. We've got two females here and one male, and then the other male and female have moved off towards the south. So Lily, they can eat grass in the same way that dogs sometimes eat grass. And what that does is it helps them to line the digestive tract. Now I know that's quite a complicated way of saying things, but I'll say it again for you. Line the digestive tract. And what it does, it just means that it helps that meat that they eat, all that meat, to get through their tummies and out the other side and get digested properly. So sometimes they have to eat a little bit of grass just to help that process, in the same way that your dogs at home sometimes do that. And Gail, you say you've lost your appetite. Well, that's good, Gail. It's not necessarily good, but I tell you why this is important for us. Because you know what, people, when we go to shops as human beings and we buy meat in a packet, we often don't think about really where it comes from. Well, this is where it comes from. This is the kind of thing that we're eating, and it's just packed up nicely in a package. And it's a good idea sometimes just to give consideration to the animals that we do eat as human beings. I eat meat. I'm sure most of you eat meat. And it's a good idea just to give consideration to where those things come from. Right, I think I've had enough of seeing the stinky lions and the stinky food they're eating. But who of you would like to see an elephant? Look over there. Jamie, you want to know how big mummy lions are compared with daddy lions? A daddy lion is about 200 kilograms, Jamie. Oh, look at that wonderful vulture flying away there. And a mummy lion is about 120 kilograms. Now, that is about, I'm just going to try and work it out the same as you. If you're about 20 kilograms or 25 kilograms, a mummy lion is then about 5 times more than you, and a daddy lion about 10 times more than you. I'm just waving at Andrew. Enjoy. The other two went through there, Andrew. Okay. Oh, look, these elephants, I think, are very thirsty. They're going to come and have a drink here. Lots of them coming out of the bush here. This is brilliant. And Mia, you want to know how animals camouflage themselves. Mia, they don't camouflage themselves. They are camouflaged by the color that they are. Tawny and gold and brown. And then you get leopards, like Karula, who you met, who walk through the thick bush. And in the thick bush, it's very difficult to see a leopard's fur. This is going to be very special, everyone. We're going to see these elephants having a drink. That's wonderful. We're very, very lucky today to see all these things. We don't always see such amazing things in one drive. There we go. Let's just get into a position where we can watch them nicely. That's beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. What a wonderful sighting we have. We're so lucky. They're all thirsty. And elephants get very thirsty. They have to drink every single day. Same as you have to drink every single day. Well, so do the elephants. And they're very, very big, you can see. And look, they're just like us, elephants are just like us. You know how, when you go to a birthday party, the boys are always fighting with each other and pushing each other all over the place. Well, it's the same with the elephants. And you know how the girls were much more civilized about life, and they talk to each other nicely, and they kind of, they don't behave, they don't push each other about. Well, it's the same with elephants. And I'll show you what I mean if they start to do silly things. It's very funny to watch. Look at that one there, trying to climb up the bank. That's a young bull. It's a young male. He's just playing. He's not actually stuck. He's just playing because he's being silly. Isn't that funny? I think that's great. There we go, he's climbed up. Beautiful sighting of elephants having a lovely drink. And it's quite hot. It's not very hot, everybody. And Lera and Fatima, you want to know how big an elephant is in real life. Well, I mean, very big. They are bigger. I don't know what kind of car your dad drives, but I'm sure some of your fathers will drive those big 4x4s like a Fortuna or a Prado. They're about the same size as a Prado. So that's a huge, huge animal, like a Land Cruiser, bigger than a Land Cruiser. And you know, an elephant is so strong that if it wanted to, it could turn one of those huge Land Cruisers or Fortunas over, push it over onto its side. And that's how big they are. They weigh 6,000 kilograms. A big male elephant weighs 6,000 kilograms. You know how heavy that is? Oh, and we've got zebras running around here. Oh, it's just wonderful. Look at that. "6,000 kilos, everybody, for a big male elephant." Now, let's pretend that you will weigh 25 kilos or so. 4 of you per 100 kilograms. That makes 40 of you per 1,000 kilograms. Which means that if you multiply that by 6 times 40 is what? Does anybody know? That means that there would be 240 little Rodine girl grade 1s in one big elephant bull. Isn't that amazing? 240 of you. So that's how big they are. And Izzy, the baby elephant, which is the smallest one we have here. You want to know how big that one is. There are a couple there in that group there. There we go. The one just disappearing. That one is probably about 1.5 meters tall. So that's about 5 rulers tall. Isn't that impressive? 5 rulers tall, and probably weighs about 250, no more, about 400 kilograms. So if we do our little analogy again, that is roughly the same as 16 of you. So your whole class just about could fit into that tiny little elephant. Now look at the zebra. They want to come and have a drink, but they're a bit scared of the elephants because the elephants are so very big. Look at them running around. And Pia, you want to know how much water the elephants drink. Pia, a big bull elephant, if you can believe it, drinks more than 150 liters of water in one day. 150 liters of water. That's 150 milk bottles. Now, why do you think these zebra are running around like this? Why do you think they would be nervous? What would make elephants, at least, what would make zebra nervous? Think about where we've just come from. They can smell the lions. That's where they're looking. They're looking straight towards the lions. They can see all the vultures in the trees. They can probably smell the buffalo meat. And so they're very nervous. They know that the lions are around. There we are. The buffaloes are just down there, or the lions are just down there. And Lily, you're wondering about elephants and their tusks. They're not horns, Lily. They're teeth. So if you tap the two there, look at the lion moving. Those zebra can see that lion. But he's too far away for them, much too far away, and they're not hungry anymore, so the lions will not attack the zebras. Lily, the front of an elephant is tusks. Now if you all open your mouth and tap your front teeth, like I'm doing. So these two teeth here, those two there, the same ones that Bugs Bunny's got, those are what tusks are. They're the same teeth, and what they do is they just go all the way out, like that, out of the elephant's mouth. Now, why do you think a zebra would run towards the lions? I'll tell you why. They run towards them so that they know exactly where they are. They don't want the lions to hide from them in the bushes here and be able to sneak up on them. They want to know exactly where the lions are. This is very, very interesting, you know. We've got zebras and vultures and lions and elephants disappearing. Adrian, you want to know what elephants eat when they're born? Same thing you ate when you were born, Adrian. They eat milk. They suckle from their mums. They are mammals in the same way that you are a mammal. And so they drink milk from their mothers. And then when they're about a year or 2 years old, then they finish drinking milk and they eventually will start to eat grass. But they can suckle from their mothers up to 4 years, so much longer than human beings will suckle from their mothers. There they go, just down the hill there. We're not going to follow them, we're going to let them go gently down into the woodland. What a very special, lucky time we've had. Okay, let's go down back towards where the vultures are and see what we can see there. I think we'll just leave the elephants there. Gail, you want to know how an elephant breathes. Gail, how do you breathe? How do you breathe? Where do you get the air from? Through your nose and through your mouth. Same way that an elephant does it. Their trunks, there's a big nose, that's what that big trunk is. They can breathe through that. Otherwise they can breathe through their mouths as well. And that's how they get their air. Same as all mammals. Some mammals can't breathe through their mouths, they can only breathe through their noses. And those zebra apparently are a good example of a mammal that is unable to breathe through the mouth. They can only breathe through the nose. And I know that some of you will ride horses, and you know that horses are the same. Okay, everybody, I believe you've got to go back to your schooling day. And thank you very much for coming on safari with Liam and I, and with Byron. Byron's tracking at the moment, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, I hope that you will come and visit this area one day and tell your parents you want to come to the Kruger Park and see these incredible animals for yourself. We'll say goodbye to you as you look at that vulture. Have a great day. Alrighty, let's head across to Byron for the rest of us and find out what he's doing. I don't know where to look around here anymore.
James has had all the luck this morning. We were lucky to see Karula and her cubs, but it sounds like everything's just happening around James at the moment. It's amazing. It's very, very wonderful. I'm so happy for him. And for all of you to be able to see it. Brian and I have just seen fresh male leopard tracks, trying to work out which direction they go. They head straight towards the camp. So I'm having a good look around this area. I'd love to see a big male leopard. Almost walked straight past the FC. So if that is the case and the ladies missed it, we're going to have a word with them later. Just have a look here now. Where did we last see these tracks? There is the small Gallagher waterhole, which is not too far from us, and it's a good chance that that leopard walked right down to there to go and have a drink. Let's just have a look. Love to be able to show you this male leopard track. See if I can find a clear one. I think this was the last place we had the tracks, just back here. Yeah. Let me see if I can show you clearly. Is that good? Alright. Give me a second. Let me get out and I will circle the track for you and show you exactly. Brian can tell me. Let me just get a little stick. It's nice to circle with the stick. Alright, Brian, which ones are the best? Can you see these over here? Alright, there we go. So, now if I can show you carefully, this, and how I know that it's a big male leopard track. The track is very, very round. It's quite a nice round track, and much larger than a female's track. This looks like the front paw over here. This one, very large, round front paw, and this is potentially the back paw, from what it looks like to me. He's heading in this direction. As I said, he's come right up towards the camp, and it looks like he's turned, maybe gone towards that Gallagher waterhole, which is down in this direction. Now, with the leopard track, you can see a very clear W at the back. And now the big cats, the lion and the leopard, have got these clear 3 lobes at the back of the track. So the palm of the track, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 toes.
I've lost your audio.
Oh dear. Can you hear me there? Is that right? Sorry, audio problems. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 clear toe marks, and you can see that clearly in the track. So you can see he's headed down the road, all the way down the road, and I can tell it's fresh because it's very, very clear. And we drove out here this morning and there were no tracks. So I'm sure we are not too far behind him, but I think he has cut through to the Gallagher waterhole. So I think, why don't we quickly head down there? We're not too far, and see if we can find it. It's very exciting. It's a lovely morning. The temperature's warmed up wonderfully. It's going to be a really, really great day. Another great day. And what a morning we've had. We've had so much activity. We've been lucky for the last 2 days. It's really been fantastic. Come on, Brian, let's try to find this male leopard. That'd be awesome. So Marianne has asked us, occasionally when she watches on the zoom camera, she can see mosquitoes on the leopards, and she would like to know, do they get malaria? No, Marianne, they do not, but it's probably not mosquitoes. Sorry, I just want to have a look. Those look like hyena tracks though. Yeah, that's alright. Not far from their waterhole. So Marianne, it's probably not mosquitoes. It's little fleas or bugs. Sometimes tiny little flies that bother these big cats. It's not mosquitoes. But no, these animals out here do not get malaria. Definitely not that I know of, but I'm almost certain I've never ever heard or seen of an animal dying of malaria. They obviously have different immunity to mosquito bites compared to us. But those that you can see on the camera are most likely little flies, little midges that are bothering those animals. Just keep looking very carefully through the bush while we're driving here. Never know, this male leopard could be just around the corner. While I'm searching this area, James has got some more interesting birds to show you.
There's an incredible array of vultures here, everybody. We've got the white-headed vulture. That's that one there. And that's the one we showed the kids. It's a juvenile white-headed, but it is massive. And I don't know if you're going to get the perspective here, but if you go we move to the right, you can see there the size of the hooded vulture, which is not a small bird, but it's appreciably smaller than the white-headed. And then you've got our sort of standard issue, as VM describes it, a classic vulture, the white-backed vulture there. That's the one sort of sitting on his haunches. And in the background you can see the lions pulling that buffalo about the place. And we're going to go back to the boundary with Mala Mala, everybody, because apparently the cheetah are back in view. So while we drive along there, Greg, I'll answer your question. What is that vulture carrying, Liam? A stick.
He's playing fetch. It's
playing fetch, yes. There we go, off you go. He's found a nice addition to his home. He's going to go put that in his house. Greg, the wingspan of the white-backed vulture, if I'm not mistaken, is about 2 meters. And that's about 7.5 to 8 feet. I will just check that up for you. The biggest... No, there are. Look at that, 3 different species. Oh no, 2 different species. The white-backed sitting with the white-headed. Let me just quickly check for you, Greg, because they've all got slightly different wingspans, obviously. So the white-backed has a wingspan of 2.2 meters, so that's about, it's about 8 feet. No, 7.5 feet. Then I think the biggest one is the Cape vulture. And the Cape vulture has a wingspan of 2.5 meters. So what's that in feet? 2.5 meters is about 6 foot 2 plus another 30 or so. Now that's about 7.5 feet. 2.5 meters, 7.5 feet. So the whiteback that you're looking at there is, well, now you're looking at a hooded. That's probably got a wingspan of about 6 feet. The poor maligned hooded vulture. It's got to eat a lot of dung before it gets enough to eat. It unfortunately really does feed on the scraps. If ever there was a vulture that you wouldn't want to be, it would be a hooded vulture. A scrap eater and dung devourer. Aren't you glad you're not a dung devourer? VM, you really love this, don't you? The sight of me taking incompetent pictures makes you very happy. That was yet another one. Unusable, will be deleted. Okay, let's quickly go and see if we can see those cheetah again. We don't have too much time left on the drive. Turn that off, move that out of the way, and go down. I think they've come back towards the boundary. I don't think they're on cheetah plains at the moment, but they seem to be back this, or certainly within view. Lion eating buffalo. There is so much going on here at Cheetah Plains today. I can't believe we've come down here sometimes, well, as it is everywhere in the wilderness, and we found nothing. I came down here once, I remember, we spent about 3 hours here, and we found, I think it was 1 wildebeest bull. That was it. Right, let's speed down into the clearings here. See if we can see our cheetah friends. Get out of the way, bird. Crowned lapwing. Hello, Susan in New York. What a lovely question. You say, you say, have I ever had the sense that some of the animals in the park here individually recognize us individually. Susan, I have, but I don't know that if I'm being... I suspect quite strongly that I'm seeing things that aren't there. So as a biologist, I would say to you, I think it's very unlikely. But anybody who has worked with animals for extended periods, for example, if you've worked with chimpanzees, if you've worked with a dog can recognize you individually, there's no question. So I don't really see why it wouldn't be the case that the animals out here should be able, wouldn't be able to recognize us. Where is Andrew? Do you see the cheetah anywhere? We're just going to look around here. Apparently they came back towards the boundary. I'm just going to get hold of Andrew quickly. Andrew, come in. Because the air didn't see them. We might have to drive back along that... Oh, there he is. I see him. I got him now. So, do elephants recognize us individually? I don't see why not. Why I say sometimes I think I'm conning myself is, you know, you see a leopard like Karula, with whom we have this amazing relationship that we spend so much time with, and we like to think of her as, you know, I mean, and I've read it on some of the social media around Safari Live. People say, well, she very kindly showed her cubs to you, which is true to the extent that it was wonderful to see the cubs, but did she genuinely show them to me, or was it a case of my just being in the right place at the right time? I don't know. And would she be more likely to show her cubs to one person than another person? I don't know. I think it's unlikely. Now, I'm not sure what kind of a view we're going to have of these cheetah. There are two Mala vehicles in the sighting. We'll just wave fondly at them. It's not going to be a great sighting. It would have been better with the other camera, I'm afraid. We'll just have a quick look and then we'll start heading back towards Djuma. Yeah, this is not going to be the best cheetah sighting you've ever had, but they are cheetah and it still will be decent. There we go. Very nice. Arcadia, you make a very good point. You say we always see these two cheetah brothers and we don't seem to see any others. We don't seem to see any females. And you say, well, are there no females around? I've seen one female here, and she will come in and out of this area. They're not strictly territorial. But yes, you're right. The habitat is not ideal, and therefore the number of cheetah will be much lower than it could be in some other areas. But there will be females that pop through here from time to time. There's a herd of wildebeest also grazing peacefully in Mala, enjoying the warmth of the morning now. The sun has come out. It's a delicious morning, I must say. Now, Mala, in case you don't know, is one of the original private ecotourism operations of the Sabi Sands, together with Londolozi and I think probably Lion Sands to the south. They really did pioneer ecotourism in this area, this private ecotourism that has sustained the Sabi Sand and created almost an entire industry out here. Provides countless jobs, has protected any number of hectares of land, and provided a safe haven for animals like those two cheetah that you're looking at now. Justin, you're interested in domesticating cheetahs, or not possibly physically domesticating them, but you don't want to know if they can be domesticated. Justin, they can be. Apparently, I don't think it's easy, but they can be domesticated, and they have been, certainly. And I know that throughout history there have been various sort of domineering fellows of history, like Genghis Khan, for example. Apparently he had a stable of cheetah that he used to use as hunting dogs. So yes, they most certainly can be domesticated. They don't breed well in captivity, though. Apparently they're very shy about breeding in captivity, and so they're not necessarily the best candidates for conservation in captivity. Alright everybody, that's the cheetah. I don't think we're going to sit with them any longer. We're going to make our way back towards Djuma slowly, and maybe we'll be very lucky on the way there. Maybe Nkanyeni will pop out. And many lion tracks up and down this road, I suspect, from those lions that we saw there. Now, those of you who are regular viewers, would you kindly give some thought to which lions those were? We think they were two Birmingham boys, but we don't know. That wasn't very friendly. He didn't wave at me at all, but his guests are waving at me. And that's funny. And I don't know which three females those were. Somebody, Andres from Cheetah said he thought they were the Talamati Pride. Very far south for the Talamati Pride to be. So I don't know who they were. Fascinating stuff. Okay, let's head across to Byron, get an update from him. We'll see you back at Djuma.
James, you can't just lose your train of thought like that. We've lost something else though. We've lost our leopard tracks. Can't see where they come out. They headed straight past camp. So, not sure if it's in a block just between the camp and the waterhole. We did go and check Gallagher waterhole or pan, but no luck, no sign anywhere around there. That's how it happens sometimes. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. We're right back in the area where, sorry, something in my eye. Right back in the area where Karula was yesterday with that Dacre kill. So, I wonder if he doesn't pick up on the scent that she was around, and maybe just came to have a look and investigate. Because he came straight into this direction, into this area, but no sign of him anywhere. But male leopards have the ability to hide extremely well. Some giraffe tracks and dung around here. Let's see if we don't find a giraffe, perhaps. James is definitely having so much luck. Everything seems to be falling in his lap. I am going to mark it down to luck and not skill. See what he has to say about that later. So Mark in Chicago has asked an interesting question, and I've been touching on it a little bit. Hang on, a little hornbill. Just sitting off to the right, red-billed hornbill. Look at that beautiful bird. He was running around on the ground. Oh, he's just jumped off, and he's on the ground there. Watch them run. They were so funny, picking up little seeds. Also feed on insects. Beautiful bird, the red-billed hornbill. So Mark, getting back to your question, Mark has asked, generally, how close can we get to an animal without it feeling threatened or being threatened? So Mark, I think it varies from animal to animal. It also varies on the area that you are in. And I say that because in some areas where animals have been hunted in the past, perhaps, they are a little bit more nervous of vehicles. and people, so it takes them a lot longer to become relaxed, and they will move off quite quickly. If they do hear or see any vehicles, you won't be able to get close to them. But animals in these areas, even within the greater Kruger, it does take time to get them habituated to vehicles. It doesn't just happen overnight, and new lions could come into the area and they may be a little bit more skittish, so you don't get that close, so they will feel threatened from a further distance. Not necessarily threatened, but also a bit nervous, and then choose to move off. So it depends on the animals. It depends where they have been or where they're going or how long they've been in an area that they have seen vehicles. Then they may get a little bit more relaxed a lot sooner. Animals like impala and other antelope species tend to be wary and just try and keep their distance. But like you saw this morning, we had that beautiful female leopard. We got really close to her and she got up and moved off right past the vehicle, and she was not fazed by us at all. But she's a 12, 13-year-old leopard that's very comfortable with the vehicle. She's been viewed for many years, so she knows that we are no threat or danger, and that is the key. It's just to make sure that these animals know there's no threat or danger, and if they feel comfortable with that, then you find you can get a lot closer to them than usual. This hornbill is looking for food, just carry on scratching. It's incredible. Beautiful bird. This is the area we had those big male lions last night. They were lying down right here and had that beautiful roar for us at the end of the show yesterday. What a way to end. We were so lucky. We sat there for a long time and we waited and waited and waited. And our patience paid off. We got to hear them roar. Lex, do you copy Lex? Oh, there's a large bird of prey flying above us. You see, perhaps Brian can get it for you. You see that, Brian? Looks like a vulture, and it is a vulture, and it looks like and is a white-backed vulture. It is a white-backed vulture. So often people see vultures flying around, and they think, oh, there must be a kill. There's got to be a kill. That's not always the case. So, just to give you a bit of perspective of where it's flying, but it's drifting quite a bit from where I first saw it to where it is now. And what is happening here is the vulture has picked up the thermals. The day is starting to warm up, and all the hot air is beginning to rise. And these thermals allow these vultures to soar and drift and look for food. They have incredible eyesight. They can spot something roughly around the size of an A4 piece of paper from about 2 kilometers away, up in the air. It's incredible how good their eyesight is. So now the morning is starting to warm up. The vultures are able to catch these thermals, so they conserve the energy with their flight. They're able to circle up and soar, and then hopefully find some food a little bit later. Now, this vulture, if it continues to fly around, it may see other vultures going into that area where James is. There is a lot of vulture activity around there with that lion kill on the buffalo. and then it may join up to them. I've seen vultures come from all over. You don't see a single vulture in the sky, and the next thing, they all arrive when they start finding a carcass. And as soon as one or two start heading in, the rest follow them, and they all come into that area to get some food and try and scavenge off of a carcass. Lovely. It's drifted off quite a way now. Speaking about James and the carcass that he saw this morning, let's get an update from him and see what he is up to.
Baron, of course, is completely correct. We have had all the luck today, and I'd love to say it was skill. I'd love to tell you that it was my great foresight that brought us to Cheetah Plains this morning, but it had nothing to do with that. It was entirely on a whim. And so, yes, thank you to luck, the universe, whatever deity it is that you might choose to be grateful to. Whoever it is has blessed us richly this morning. It's been really lovely. Viam and I were just wondering what happened to those dogs yesterday and wondering if they'd been called in. I wonder if they're not on Biffle's hook, perhaps. They would definitely be a long way from us. And I wonder too if you've had any thoughts on who those lions were. Pretty sure they were two Birmingham boys. We had the other two yesterday. One of them on Chitwa today. The other one are those three lionesses. There were three of them that killed a buffalo the other day three lionesses killed a buffalo about 5 days ago, maybe they're the same ones.
Well, so James has just been lost there. Not sure which area he's driving through. He's still on Cheetah Plains. Signal comes and goes a little bit the further away from camp we are. But luckily there are two of us. So if one does go down, the other one is always around. And hopefully has something to show you. At the moment I've got nothing. I haven't had as much luck as James has had this morning, but it happens like it. Oh, I say that, but you know what? We were very lucky this morning. We got to see a female leopard and her two cubs. That's incredibly lucky. So we must never take our sightings for granted. It's really nice just cruising through the bush now, seeing what we can bump into. You never know. There's signs of elephant around, but we saw some earlier, but just as we got those leopard tracks, Brian and I thought, you know what, these leopard tracks are fresh, let's try and follow them, and I do believe they are fresh. They're definitely from this morning, but unfortunately it's moved into an area that was quite thick, a lot of drainage lines. I'm not too sure. We thought he went to the waterhole, but didn't see anything coming out. I looked around, no sign of him drinking, so I'm not too sure where that male leopard is hiding. And a big hello to Andre, Denise and Shireen down in the Eastern Cape. Now, they say they've been watching the show quite a bit and really enjoying it. I hope so, and I hope they have enjoyed it as much as I have. It's been great, and they say a lot of them, they've been watching it before work in the mornings, and I know some people are watching while they're at work, and that's great. If you've got the opportunity to do that, that's very lucky, and that's fantastic. Help you get through a day. So Bud in North Carolina has asked us, as the dry season continues and begins to worsen, What other animals are we able or likely to see show up on the plains of Arathusa or Djuma or Cheetah plains? So, but the best way to describe it, and let me just stop in the shade so I can explain it nicely to you, but these areas, the animals are here throughout the year, so they're constantly moving around. It doesn't matter whether it's summer or winter. The only real difference is in summer, the bush is a lot thicker. It's very lush, it's very green, because summer is our rainfall season. So we tend to get a lot more rainfall and everything grows and it's very, very beautiful. The winter, all that happens is the bush begins to thin out slightly. So it might be easier to spot some of the animals. We don't have migrations in southern Africa. So the animals are always around. There's always a little bit of water, enough to get them through, hopefully, through the dry season. So you're not going to necessarily see different animals just showing up because it's a drier season or because it's a summer season. The only thing that will change is the bird life. And the reason for that is in summer we have a lot more rainfall and it's a lot warmer. So you get birds from northern Africa or Europe migrating south and enjoying the summer time down here with us, and then in our winter they migrate north again, back to North Central Africa or some up to Europe. So those birds, sorry, I've got flies buzzing around, those birds would change, the bird species and that, but in terms of animal movements, the animals are always around here. These areas, they do not move out in and out of the area completely, so you're not going to see different animals at different times of the year. It might just be easier to spot some of the animals in winter because it is a little bit more open. So James Richard has asked me what my favorite sighting has been this week. What have I enjoyed the most and what else I would like to still see before I leave Safari Live. And James Richard, I'm trying to think now. I mean, sure. It's always wonderful to see lions and hear them roar so close to the vehicle. I really enjoyed last night. That's one of my favorite. But I think this morning, that female leopard with her 2 cubs, it's so special to be able to see that. I really can't tell you how lucky we are. It's not something you see often, and to be able to see Karula and her 2 cubs, for me, was definitely a highlight. What else? But we've seen a lot of interesting things. The giant eagle owls that we saw, that was great. That was very different. We saw, what else did we see? We've seen so much. The cheetah the other day, that was nice and a great surprise. So, yeah, but I'd have to say the leopard this morning with the 2 cubs, that was really, really great. But also, now that I think about it, the elephant, the amount of elephant around has been fantastic. I love elephant, love spending time with them. And the elephant in this area have been very relaxed with us being around. We've got to see all the youngsters. It's been incredible. I would like to see a big dominant male leopard before we go, and it looked like those tracks we had this morning were of one. So I may, when we get back to camp, I may just head out and go and walk through an area and see if I can't track and find exactly where he's gone. We might be able to show you that this afternoon. But that would be great. That would be something that I'd love to see before I leave here. But then from here, I just head south to Londolozi. I'm guiding guests there for a few days, and then I'm staying and helping there for a short while before I head back to Johannesburg. So I've still got a long period of time in the bush, which I'm looking forward to, guiding different people from all over, and that is something I really, really enjoy, and that's why I love doing what I do. But Safari Live has been great, and all the support and questions and the fun that we've had. We've had so much fun. James and I, we really have enjoyed having each other around. I think, well, I speak for myself then. I've enjoyed having James around us as a colleague on the vehicles. I'm not sure what he would say. We've got some impala just running off. A young male and a female. Beautiful antelope. Almost like they tiptoe through the bush. Wonderful to see them. And this morning the impala helped us find Karula. They were the ones that were alarm calling and alerted us to which area she was in. We didn't have an idea. We were looking around, trying to see if we can't find any sign of her or tracks of her, and we didn't have any luck until they started alarm calling. And that's how we found her this morning. And Tammy Peterson, thank you very much for your comment, saying I fit right into the Wild Earth family. I hope so. It's been great, and it's really fantastic to be able to come out and help for a short while the other guides get a bit of a break, and I'm sure I will be back in the future. It's a wonderful concept. I think the Wild Earth, being able to showcase nature to people all around the world that haven't had the opportunity to get out here themselves yet. Some have been out and on safari, and they still watch and they still love enjoying it with us. But hopefully this just sparks that interest even further and gets more people to come out and visit. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience to be able to be out here, go on a safari and see the animals for yourself, up close and personal. Aqua has asked, do I have 2 or 3 drives left with you? So I have this afternoon's drive and then tomorrow morning. So 2 more drives with all of you. And I will miss all of you too. I'll miss the questions and the banter on the vehicle. It's been great. And it's also so nice to be driving around with these great cameramen. Every day or every drive it's with a different cameraman. But Brian, VM and David have been amazing, and it's great having them around. It's incredible to see what they do with the camera. I mean, I could never do that. The way they zoom in and follow the animals and find animals through thickets is incredible. And as I pass this herd of impala off to our left, thank you very much for this morning. I hope you have all enjoyed it as much as I have. Cross over to James that he may say goodbye. Thank you to Brian and the thumb. It was great, really great morning. And we'll see you this afternoon again. Don't forget to tune in and send us your questions. Off to James and his goodbye.
What's he going to say when it's actually his last drive? I mean, goodness gracious me. I'm very glad he's had a good time here and is continuing to have a good time here and will continue to do so for the next 2 drives. It has been great fun having Byron here. I will get on to that actually on his last drive, though not now. We're back on Djuma. We drove here at great speed. One, because we didn't have signal, and secondly because Liam and I are now desperately hungry, aren't we, Liam? And I think it's a fry-up today, isn't it? Yes. Just depends how much there is left. The shopping trip arrives today, everyone. We might be on to bland cereals this morning with 1 or 2 pieces of stale bread and maybe a bit of water heated.
Fried cereal.
We could fry the cereal. Did we?
We had a fried up cereal cake or something.
Oh, yes. Okay, maybe we could fry some cereal. That would be delicious. As long as I'm not involved. I'm the world's worst wildlife photographer, but I'm pretty close to being the world's worst cook as well. In fact, I'm a worse cook than I am photographer, and that really does say something. Hello, Judy H. You say, is my microphone under my hat, or is this just a giant black chorb? You actually didn't say that. You said, or did someone clobber me? Judy H., while there's unquestionably cause for many people to give me a clobbering in this area, no, that is my microphone. What it means is that I can do this, and the sound doesn't change. I can ruffle my jacket, and the sound doesn't change. And also, my stomach can make those very loud grumbling sounds that it tends to make at this time of the day, and there is no change. And so I'm going to continue wearing it underneath my hat. Right, that's going to be it from us this morning. Some impala up ahead is your last dawn safari dawn safari animal. A big thank you to VM well done, and a big thank you to Rebecca and Louise in the final control, and of course to Byron and Brian on the other car. We'll see you later today at 3:30. Stay safe and happy until then.